Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Ezeoba, and my topic today is an American, not a werewolf, in London. When you look at me, what do you see? Is it a tall, black, charming young man? Then you hear his accent. What is that? Do I suspect a British, no, American accent? Yes, I think so. Then you make assumptions about me. A tall, black, charming, American accented man. I am all these things and more. You see, I am Bobby, son of Jacob. And my story begins in Verona, Italy, where a star was born. Then the lights change. You know what you get here. Well, like all stories, once upon a time, a young prince was born in Verona, Italy, because that's where I was born. From Verona, Italy, I moved to Nigeria, from Nigeria to America, so I traveled to lots of places. You see, when I was in the US, I actually had two different lifestyles, or you could say I experienced two different sides of life, so I became well versatile. The first one was when I was from 2 to like 7, I lived in New York. And I lived in the projects, as you could call it, or like the more city areas. And you see, like when I was that age, I didn't know the difference between good and bad. I didn't know what was right and what was wrong. So I saw lots of things, but I just couldn't make sense of them at the time. So as a child, I just tried to make do with what I had. For example, I met lots of thugs at the time, drug dealers, and so, but I didn't really know what they were. And to me, they were just like everyday people trying to struggle and help their family survive. Then, from the city, I moved to Illinois, into a suburban area. The funny thing is, when I was in the city, I remember being surrounded with all black faces. But then when I moved to the suburbs, I was the only black kid on my block. And there were only 2 other black families in the neighborhood. So it was a completely different situation. And the funny thing is, when I was in the suburbs, I was able to go around freely. And imagine like a 7-year-old riding his bike freely until like 5 o'clock. I didn't have a cell phone at the time, so my parents couldn't contact me, but they knew I was safe because of the area I was living in. Meanwhile, when I was in New York, once I stepped into the house, I didn't leave it until the next day. And so I was able to see like the different sides of life, how I met like one neighborhood which was really safe and you would feel free and everyone knew each other, compared to another neighborhood where you were scared to step outside of your door because you wouldn't know if you would come back that day. And from there, America, I then moved to Canada, then back to Nigeria, and finally I came to the UK. London. London, London, London. What can I say about London that's not that bad? No, I actually love the place, I love the place. But there are just some things that I'm not used to yet. For example, if I write color again for my English teacher without a U, I might as well just have failed my English IGCSE. But I'm not really used to, like, that's one of the things I have to get used to, which is the writing scheme that they have here. Another thing, you English people have some very awkward words that you use to resemble everyday things. For example, my face is a boat race. I don't see 2 boats racing on my face. Or my cell phone is a dog and bone. I am not a dog and my phone is not a bone. This does not amuse me. But as you can see, everyone has their own slangs, and that's one of the things I noticed. When I was in America, we had our own slangs, which probably you wouldn't recognize here. And as I came here, I had to, like everywhere you go to, adapt. So one of the things that I also noticed, as in here, is my peers. My peers use words that I have no idea what they mean. So when they're talking, I would just be shaking my head. I'll be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Then they'll be like, you don't know what this is, you don't know what that is. But it's all about the process of life, which is learning. And I believe life is an ever state of learning, actually. And another thing would be like, so one of the problems that I actually have here, for example, which would be taking your buses. To me, a double-decker looks like a big red dragon. So I have no idea how I'm supposed to ride on it. So every time that I would go on the bus with my Oyster card, I would be confused when I'm riding on the top because I would think that 2 buses are about to collide. But the drivers here must be wonderful to be able to like drive these big contraptions. And another thing that I was okay with it because it was making friends, and that was because I had been to lots of different places, so I was used to meeting new people and like getting along with them. And I actually think that my travels, as in I finally came to London, have made me a better person, because each new place that I went to, I perfected myself and I became a better person overall. Like, there are so many different traits that I don't have that I had years ago, which I'm glad to. And I think that's what life is also all about, which is finding a better you. And that you can't make yourself better without those around you. The same way those around you can't make themselves better without the people around them. And so, I think that's actually what makes me. The choices and the experiences that I've had that have shaped me into the person that I am today and the person that I will be tomorrow. And that's mostly what I have to say about being American, not a werewolf in London. Don't judge a book by its cover. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob.
Do you have any questions?
Jacob, yes, I'd like to ask you, do you think being well-travelled makes you a more well-rounded person? Do you think that those experiences help you?
I actually do think they help me, because lots of people say when I tell them how much I've travelled, they will be like, oh, you're so lucky. But you wouldn't think it's so lucky to meet new people all the time, so you don't know who's really your friend. But it actually changes you into a person that tolerates everyone and accepts everyone for who they are and what they have to bring to the table. So I think it does.
Do you think it makes you stronger as a person?
Yeah, it definitely makes you stronger as a person, because the more tolerant you are, the more you can do in life.
Absolutely. Get on with everyone. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I have a question, Bobby. Do you think being in London has an impact on your personality?
Like I said before, all my experiences, I think it does, because obviously I have new words that I'm going to use in my vocabulary. For example, the loo, I'm going to the loo. Or, are you going up the apples and pears? Lots of strange new words that I can use. So I think it does. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes?
When you were in other countries, did you make more friends than when you're here?
I wouldn't say I met more friends, because I haven't finished experiencing my time here, and I don't plan to go anytime soon. But I can say that since I've been here, I have met more people like that I can get along with, and I think that's more with my age, because as you get older, you find out you have to make do with what you have.
Are there areas in London that you haven't experienced yet that you would love to experience?
Definitely. For example, the only places that I actually have gone through is Woolwich and here, actually, really, that I've explored. I've gone through lots of different places, but I haven't really explored much, but I'm hoping to see a lot of places.
So have you seen any of the sort of iconic
No,
sites of London yet?
And I want to go to the Queen's Palace because I want to test the guards and see if they actually will move.
Can I ask you, this is a question as a born and bred Londoner, we're often accused of being really unfriendly. Have you found English people in general and London people in particular, have you found us unfriendly?
Actually, I'm glad you said it, because at the same time, we as humans, we embrace our stereotypes, but at the same time, we shouldn't. Because when people heard that I was an American, they assumed that I was rude and dirty.
Yeah.
But most likely, people have seen me as being a polite person and really nice. But I'm obviously not like every American. So it just depends who you are. It doesn't matter where you're coming from, only where you're going.
So what did you think about Londoners then? Are we cold?
No, most of it depends, because if I talk about the different age group, obviously there are going to be some different language that's going to be used. So overall, I'd say you're pretty nice to me, but it also matters what I do to you. So yeah.
Okay, and I'm your teacher, so you have to
Yes,
say
so I
nice
have
things
to be
about me.
nice.
Well done. Thank you, Jacob. Has anyone got anything else they want to ask you? No. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice